Hey guys, this is Teacher Mark, and this video is going to be all about the demo lesson, and this is a very important part of the hiring process for VIPKid teachers. And if you find this video to be helpful and you would like me to be your mentor through the rest of the hiring process, the link for that is down in the description below. So this is likely going to be a longer video, so check in the description also for the timestamps that will take you to the particular part that you want to see. I'm trying to be really specific on those, so I don't waste any of your time and you can get exactly to what you want to see. So the demo lesson interview is one of the most important parts, because once you are past it, you get as many redos as you want later in the certification process. But this demo lesson you can fail out of, and you would have to reapply again with a different email address to get another shot at it. So it's important to check, to practice, check your prep, check your tech, set up a little bit of an educational background. All of that I'll get into later in the video, but this is just really important here to make sure that you have done your prep and you're ready to go. So that said, let's get into it. So before you get into the interview itself, a couple of things by way of preparation that you need to keep in mind. First one is the background. They look for an educational background. And you can see what I have is very simple. I didn't have this. What I did my interview with was much more simplistic than this. I think I bought like a $10 world map at Office Depot. I had this name sign here. I think I had the dino, but it wasn't laminated, and I had my reward system. And this is, I'll talk about this more later. But it was just this simple little moon here, and I used some, I cut out some spaceships. Again, none of this was laminated. I didn't want to spend any money until I knew that I was going to be hired. So that is, that is what I had for my background. It was just a white wall, a map, my name, and my reward system. That's all. They just want to see that you've put some thought into it, that you're organized, and that you've done some preparation. You can find the VIPKid characters. I think a Google search will come up. This character is called Dino. He's like their main mascot guy. So there's also Mike and Meg, and you can look for them and put them up if you want. They're gonna be looking at your tech, and there are a couple components of this. The first one obviously are video and audio. Does your video look good? You know, is your resolution of your webcam sufficient? It doesn't have to be great. It's a small 4:3 aspect ratio, and it's a small picture. So if you have any modern webcam or laptop cam, built-in cam, those usually work perfectly fine. The other part of it is your audio. How do you sound? They do look to see that you have a headset. Earbuds are fine with a separate mic. If you have a larger set of headphones, this is a wireless pair that I like. This is a USB one. I think this is like $25 on Amazon. I can put the link in the description to that. But either one of those look fine. And the reason they look for a separate headset is, and you'll see this once you start teaching, students that don't have a headset often you will hear your own voice echo back, and it's incredibly distracting. And they want the student obviously to have the best experience, and so they don't want their voice to echo back. So that's why they look for us to have a headset. Again, earbuds with a mic are fine. A headset is fine with a mic. So those are two of kind of the main components that they look for. Then they also look at the ping, which is kind of a measurement of how quickly your computer talks to the server. And this is not speed. So you can have a low speed connection. Pretty much any modern broadband cable will suffice as long as there is a good ping. So and you can test that from inside the practice classroom. I'll put up another quick video on that. And then finally, they are looking at your lighting. How are you well illuminated? Do you have any shadows? You cannot have any shadows. I know right here where I'm at in my room, I don't have like great camera lighting, so you see kind of it pixelates a little bit. It's not the best image here in this video, but I am well illuminated. I don't have any shadows, and my image is perfectly fine for teaching inside the classroom. I have a couple of lights that are throwing light off the wall and reflecting back at me. I've also tweaked my camera settings so things look good. These are the 4 things that they're going to be looking at when you do your demo interview. They're going to be looking for your attire. Obviously, you want to be professional. At a minimum, it has to be a solid colored shirt. If you want to show them that you already drank the Kool-Aid and you're all on board, you can go to like Michael's or something. I think I got this shirt for $3.50. I just like an orange shirt. I bought one shirt for my interview because I wanted to show them I was all in. They're also going to be looking for some props. When I did my interview, I had some real minimum props. I had this whiteboard. This was probably the most expensive thing I bought in prepping for my interview. I think this was like $10 at Walmart, and I bought some markers. Actually, it wasn't even these. It was these small, narrow ones that are kind of hard to see. So you don't need to spend a lot of money on that. They're also going to be looking. Some other props that you're going to want are like a puppet or a stuffed animal. I think that's pretty much it for this demo lesson. Once you've gathered everything up and you're set and you're ready to go, then that takes us to actually practicing and kind of looking for the target points that you're going to be evaluated on. Now, these are things to keep in mind through all of the hiring process. Oh, actually, I got ahead of myself here. So there's 3 parts to the interview that you're going to want to keep in mind. First is kind of, it's a 30-minute interview. The first 10 minutes is kind of them getting to know you. This is where you can play up your experience. If you haven't done professional teaching, but you've taught kids, you've worked with kids in a community or church setting, you can mention that. If you have any ESL experience, even if it's not formal ESL experience, you worked with Hispanic kids in the community, you helped tutor English to a non-native English speaker at some point. You can kind of play that up, and that sets you up in a better position later to be able to kind of get the best base rate that you can. The second part is going to be your demo lesson where you're actually teaching the slides. That's pretty straightforward. Then usually at the end you will get some basic feedback. They'll probably ask you what you think you did well or what you think you didn't do well, and give you just some basic feedback. They might ask you, what would you like for your base rate. There'll be kind of some small negotiating. They already have kind of a framework of where they're going to fit you, but you can play up your experience and kind of get the best base rate that you can. And then kind of there's like a 3B. A few days to a week after you have your demo lesson, you will get an email saying if you passed or failed. And if you passed, you will get some instructions about how to move into the certification phase of the hiring process. If you failed, you can still reapply with a different email address and just practice again for the demo lesson and move through it. That in mind for the structure, with kind of some prep things you can do, and then the structure of what the interview is like. that gets us into the exciting part of actually preparing to teach the interview. So there's a couple of things here to keep in mind when you are preparing. You are preparing to teach the lesson to a 5-year-old non-native speaker, beginning learner. They have very little experience with English, and also a 5-year-old attention span. So if you're a parent or you work with small kids, you know that that's like 2 minutes. So, and that's kind of an important thing to keep in mind. Along with remembering the age and the experience of the learner for your demo lesson, you also want to be able to establish a rapport with them, and simple things to help establish a connection. How old are you? How are you doing? Are some simple things you can ask. Sometimes they will answer in one-word sentences, like, how old are you? 5, and we want to remind them to use complete sentences. I am 5 years old. So, and encourage that. It's a simple way for us to establish connection with them. Some other major parts of what VIPKid is looking for. The first one is, are you able to meet the lesson objectives? If you've signed up for your demo lesson, you've been able to download the PDFs, and there are some lesson objectives in here. I'm going to show those later. Are you able to cover the lesson and effectively meet those learning objectives? Second is repetition. Are you able to engage the student and make sure that they can repeat back the lesson material? The basic rule of thumb for that is 2 times. You want the student to repeat something twice to make sure that they have internalized it on a basic level. The next thing is speaking speed and language. So obviously this is a new English learner, so you're not going to speak as quickly as you would to another native speaker. You are much slower and much deliberate. You do a better job of separating your words to make sure that they are able to understand as much as they can. There's another term that we talk about a lot in VIPKid, and that is called incidental language. These are all of the extra words that don't really need to be in a sentence, but kind of just add fluff to it. And as native speakers, we don't even realize it. This was the second most difficult thing for me to internalize once I started working with actual students. What words were necessary in a sentence and what words were not. So when you are practicing, you want to make sure that you are kind of paying attention to that and trying to minimize how many words you use and be very specific with the words that you do use to communicate the message that you need. Then we move into TPR. You'll hear this a lot as you move through the hiring process, as you get emails with feedback on your different stages of the interview process. When you start attending workshops after you're hired, this is also something that you will hear mentioned. And these 3 letters stand for total physical response. And this is where we're turning everything that we say into as much of a charade as we can. Again, our physical movement is another mechanism for communication with someone that understands very little English. So when in this demo lesson, we're talking about feelings. So that is very simple. Sad, angry, happy. Are kind of some ways it engages the child more when they see us moving around. And it also gives them another kind of connection point to understand what we're communicating. Something to remember is that our TPR does not have to be over the top. If that's your personality, if that's your style, and you're really active and animated and stuff, awesome. Do what works for you. I'm typically not like that. But I find ways to move my body and to get my point across. Now, I will say, if you don't have a really emotive, bubbly personality, totally fine. What I have found as I've taught lessons is that it's it's easier for me to be silly with children. It's kind of awkward in your demo lesson. Let's just throw that out there. But when you are teaching actual students, it's a little easier to do that, to kind of come down to their level. So you do not have to be really bubbly as some of the other teachers' videos might lead you to believe. That's their style. That works for them. Awesome. And if that's not your style, cool. You'll find what works for you. You will connect with students, and you will find students that want to work with you. So I just want to mention that part about TPR. It's important to remember that. Probably the most common TPR expressions are putting your finger to your chin when you are saying something that you will want them to repeat, and then cupping your hand to the ear to wait for them to say it back. In this particular lesson, one of the target words that we are teaching is feelings. So when I am teaching that word to a student, I would say feelings, and then cup my hand to my ear and wait for them to say it back. Feelings. Okay, and there was that repetition. I did that twice. That is TPR. Then we move into modeling. This is where there are often sentence structures that the children are supposed to learn as a part of the lesson. And these are usually question and answer kind of pairings, where we would ask a question and the student would say the answer back. And then vice versa happens. After we repeat the question twice and allow them to answer twice, and then they are able to ask the question and we are able to answer. And modeling is a way to show them kind of that pattern and that structure. This is where your puppet or your stuffed animal comes in. You start off talking to the animal or puppet, and you have the conversation with them before you turn to the student to ask them to do the same thing. After modeling is extension. And this is where we invite the student to talk about things outside of the normal lesson. On a basic lesson like this, for your demo lesson, a simple thing that you can do is to count the rewards. So with my example of rocket ships and the moon, after I put up a few, I will have the student count them. Say, how many rocket ships do you have? Do 1, 2, 3. Sometimes the student can count on their own, and sometimes you'll have to count and they'll have to repeat back. But that's a simple way to extend beyond the basics of the lesson and incorporate some other language practice. So the lesson that we are teaching is about feelings, and this is it's supposed to be 10 minutes. So when you are practicing, you want to kind of go through the different parts, go through the slides, and get as close to 10 minutes as you can. Something that somebody told me when I was going through the hiring process is that pacing in the point system of all of the interviews, pacing and getting through in 10 minutes is 1 point out of many. And these other things that we've talked about, modeling, TPR, repetition, and the others, are more important. And you don't want to sacrifice all of those points just to make sure that you finish within 10 minutes. My personal experience, I was tracking about 11 minutes, sometimes 11 and a half, when I was preparing for my interview. And I passed the first time. So if you are running a little over, but you're hitting some of those other parts, you are likely going to be in good shape. If you're picking up all of those other points and you're giving up on one for the pacing, you should be fine. And I will say that pacing is something that you work on as a new teacher, probably for your first 50 lessons maybe. I think I was probably closer to 100 by the time I really felt comfortable and being able to get through my lessons quickly and being able to judge the students' ability to move them effectively through the lesson. So, okay, so that being said, I am going to take some time now, and I'm just going to go through each of the slides and discuss what they are looking for as you teach it. And once I do that, I will actually teach the slides myself to show you guys how I would do it. So this is the title slide for the slide deck. This doesn't really mean much. This gives us our lesson objectives. This is what we talked about before. Are you able to effectively cover the lesson objectives that are laid out for the lesson? This is very straightforward here. We have, so these are the vocabulary that they need to learn. Feelings, feel, happy, sad, and angry. And these 5 words are going to be what we will make sure that the student repeats to be able to understand it and effectively communicate it. Okay, then the sentence pattern, and this is the question and answer structure that I mentioned before. So we will ask, how do you feel? And then the student will answer back with, I feel happy, I feel sad, and I feel angry. And in this particular one here, the student will not be asking us the questions. It's for a time reason. When you get into teaching some of the actual lessons, they do encourage us to kind of flip that around and encourage the student to practice asking us the question. Then we also have here the phonics section here, and we'll go over EG words. And that is what we will want to cover during our lesson here. So this is the title slide for the actual demo lesson slides. Then this is the reward system. So let me back up on this. You are more than welcome to use this reward system if you want. You give a monkey bananas, and you reward the student by giving them bananas through the lesson. Perfectly fine. No problem with that at all. While I was doing my research and preparing, I saw some information that said that the interviewers always see the same thing, and they want to see a variation kind of based on your personality or whatever. I did a moon and rocket ships. So when the student does well, they get a rocket ship, and they do the sound effect. So again, it's another attention grabber. It's something that just sets you apart, that you put some preparation into it. So when you start here on this feeling slide, this is an opportunity for you to get to know the student. You can ask them some get to know you questions. How old are you? And if this is a new learner, I usually hold up my hands, and then they'll say that they're 5. You can ask them, how are you doing? Sometimes they'll be able to, a real student sometimes will be able to answer that. And if you are doing the reward system slide that's built in here, you can introduce that. If you are not doing the reward system slide and you come up with something of your own, I just go over the reward system slide in this slide. I just do it all here. And that means that when I'm going through my lesson, I just kind of go through from the first slide to this slide. Then this here is a singing or a poem. And a lot of time with these opening exercises, I'll use a 2D microphone. I don't think I did that in my interview. I didn't think about that yet. So sometimes I'll do it where I'll say it and then have them repeat it. That's an option. Otherwise, you can do the say and repeat motions that I talked about earlier. So when I am sad, okay, and you'll see how I do this slide when I go through it myself. This is one of the phonics exercises where we are going over the letter M. And here, you can do some props here with M, or if you have like an M flash card for the sound, you can do that. You can also, there's also a little bit of repetition in there as you're repeating the M sound. This is the phonics lesson with the EG words. I definitely use my whiteboard on here. And again, this is some repeating and also working on the phonics sounds, making sure that you're doing the phonics, the synthetic phonics that they want us to be doing. So instead of b, it's b, it's just shorter. And instead of l for L, it's l. And you just want to teach them the sound so they can build the words up together. Okay, this is where we get into actually all of our vocabulary words. So we have feelings on the slide, we have feel, we have sad, happy, and angry. And on this slide, also this is also a good place to use TPR and repetition. Okay, this is the sentence structures where we can model it. So you can use your stuffed animal. If you have a dino cutout, you can do that and talk to dino to keep up with the picture, whatever you're comfortable with. So modeling, repetition, possibly some TPR here as the character is angry and happy. This here is sort of some repetition, and are you able to effectively use the teaching interface? Once you sign up for a demo lesson, you get access to the practice classroom, and you can actually come in here and practice drawing on the slide. So are you able to effectively communicate the instructions to the student? And in this case, you're tracing the faces to the baskets. And you'll see how I do that later when I teach the lesson. And then this is goodbye. Just thank the student, positive encouragement, see you next time, and yeah, and that's really it. So I'm going to take a break here. I'll be back in a couple minutes, and I will go through and teach this for you guys. I'm going to get started here in the lesson, and you'll see a couple other things that I didn't talk about before, about particularly about extension. I really like to do that. I think that helps establish a connection with my students, and I think it's one of the biggest things that helped me to teach a lot of students pretty quickly. So I'm going to get started. I've got a program here that'll let me mark up the slides as I go through, so you'll be able to see what I would do with a student. And I've got my whiteboard and everything here, so I hope this will be useful for you guys. And I will be the part of the teacher and the part of the student. So you'll hear me kind of whisper for the voice of the student, or a high-pitched sound, high-pitched voice, and that will be the voice of the student. So, okay. Hello, my name is Teacher Mark. What is your name? Sam. Good. My name is Sam. My name is Sam. Very good. Sam, how old are you? 5. Good. I am 5 years old. I am 5 years old. Very good, Sam. Sam, how are you? Good, good. Are you happy or sad? Happy. Good. I am happy. I am happy. Good, Sam. Very good. Hey, Sam. Moon. Moon. Good. Moon. Moon. Good. Sam, when you do a good job, a rocket ship goes to the moon. Good. When I am sad, I feel like crying. I feel like good. I feel like crying. I feel like crying. Good. When I feel angry, I look this way. I look this way. When I feel happy, I smile all day. Good, Sam. High five. Good job, Sam. M. Good. Big M. Good. Small m. M. Good. Good. Okay. Mouse. Mouse. Yes or no? Yes. Good. Mouse. Mouse. Good. Elephant. Elephant. Yes or no? No. Good. Very good. Monkey. 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 Good. Yes or no? Yes. Good, Sam. Very good. Egg. Good. Egg. Good. Egg. Egg. Good. Egg. Egg. Good. Beg. Yes, good. Good. Egg. Leg. Egg. Leg. Good. Leg. Good job, Sam. Sam. Feelings. Good. Feelings. Sad. Good. Sad. Good. Happy. Good. Happy. Good job. Angry. Angry. Good. I have many feelings. Yes, good job. I have many feelings. I have many feelings. Good. I feel sad. Sad. I feel sad. Good. I feel sad. I feel sad. Very good. I feel happy. I feel happy. Good. I feel happy. I feel happy. Yes. I feel angry. I feel angry. Good. I feel angry. I feel angry. Good. High five, Sam. Very good. You get a rocket ship. Very good, Sam. Okay, Sam, listen. How do you feel? I feel angry. How do you feel? I feel angry. Good. Sam, how do you feel? I feel angry. Good job. Okay, listen. How do you feel? I feel happy. Good. How do you feel? I feel happy. Good. Sam, how do you feel? I feel happy. Good job. How do you feel? I feel happy. Very good. Very good. Okay. Sam, can you match the face? Angry. Happy. Can you match? Angry. Good. Can you draw a line? Good. Good. Okay. Sam? Happy. Yes, Sam. Good job. Happy. And this is the student drawing the line. Angy. Good. Angry. Very good. Can you draw the line? This is the student drawing the line. And angry. Good. This is the student drawing the line. Good. Sam, you get 2 rocket ships. Good. Sam, how many rocket ships? 1. Good. 2. Very good. 3. Good. 4. Very good. I have 4 rocket ships. 4 rocket ships. Good job, Sam. Sam, you do very good today. High five. Very good. Very good. Okay, so that is the demo lesson. Those are the demo slides. And I did a timer here. That took me about 11 and a half minutes. So a little bit more than where I would want to be. Probably want to keep it 11, maybe just 11 over. You know, if you can get down closer to 10, that's awesome. But like I said, if you've got to give up something, give up the pacing in favor of the other techniques. So you saw me do some repeating. I had a little bit of a problem keeping the people separate in my head. I think I got mixed up on some words in there. But that is kind of that's how I would teach the demo lesson. You saw I had lots of repetition, modeling with the lion here, and I used my whiteboard. My pen was drying out on me, but I think you got the idea of what I was trying to do. So I hope that this has all been useful to you. Again, if you would like me to be your mentor through the rest of the hiring process, you can sign up with my link in the description below. And I've got time stamps for all of the different sections of this that I hope will be useful to you guys. So thanks again for hanging with me. I know it was a long video, and I'll talk to you soon.